Shh, hey, you guys like stickers? Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And sometimes we take all those things and we make stickers out of them. Doesn't everyone love stickers? Well, I'm going to show you how I make stickers, everything from the design process to printing them out, how to get the right paper, everything you need to know so you can make your own stickers. And let's get right to it. Alright, so the first step in creating stickers is to actually design the stickers, and everyone's going to do this differently. So if you're only interested in how to put the stickers together, you can kind of skip forward about maybe 4.5 minutes. But I don't do a lot of this process as far as showing what I do here. I show a lot of my comic book stuff and a lot of my traditional inking, and that's usually how I tend to illustrate things, is traditionally. But this time around I wanted to do a digital sketch in Photoshop. So that's where I am now, in Photoshop, and I'm kind of taking advantage of this Cintiq that I purchased, and haven't really got a chance to draw or paint with it, which is really the benefit of having one. So figured I'd start doing some more digital stuff. So anyway, this is the drawing here, and this is going to be a series of stickers that I'm going to put in a pack, and it's kind of my Crossbones series, like skull and crossbone type things, but I'm going to have zombies and robots and aliens and all that stuff. So this is just me going over the illustration, the sketch that I did. I brought this into Illustrator now, Adobe Illustrator, and I'm using the pen tool to go around and outline the entire drawing, and I'm using a pretty thick outline, and then I will switch to another layer and I'll start doing everything inside that outline. I'm going to do a little bit thinner drawings. Now, this to me isn't as attractive right now because these lines are just, there's no tapering to them, there's no line weight or anything, but I will correct that later on in another stage. But the first thing I'm doing right now is just going through in Illustrator using the pen tool, and I think if the outer outline is like a width of like 3, this is probably like 1.5, maybe 2, I think. And it's not that important because, like I said, I will be varying the line weights on here. Now, if you haven't used Illustrator, using the pen tool is a little intimidating. It's not quite as intuitive as, say, drawing in Photoshop. But that's a whole other video that I would have to talk about that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm using, like I said, the width tool to kind of taper these lines and everything. And the width tool, it's weird looking. It looks sort of like an upside down mustache with sort of a line through it. But the easiest way to do is just hit Shift W, and that should bring up the width tool, and then you kind of go to the end of each one of these little lines and you can kind of pinch it together, or you can go to the middle of a line and kind of drag it out, almost like you would on like your mobile phone, you know, pinching and everything to enlarge a photo or shrink it or whatever. So it's kind of that same principle, but you just go ahead and do that to all the different lines. And what I did was I just took my outline and I brought it over, made a copy, and then made that a solid image, brought it back underneath on another level, and that will serve as sort of my base for when I go to color. Now I brought it back into Photoshop. So this process is kind of just back and forth from Photoshop to Illustrator to back to Photoshop again. And you can, if you want it to be totally vector, you can do it all in Illustrator. For me, it's a little quicker to do some of the coloring in Photoshop, so I'm just using the lasso tool. I go through and select all the different shapes, and I'm trying to stick to like 3 core colors, or maybe 5 if you include the white, but just the green, the orange, and sort of that magenta color. I want to keep it sort of a limited palette here just for this particular series that I'm doing, and that's just kind of a design choice. But I'll select each color, whether it's green or orange or whatever, and then I will create, using the color picker, a highlighted version of that, and then a little bit darker version, and those will serve as my highlights and my shadows. And then I'll just go in and I will do that. You can see what I'm doing now, just adding those highlights and shadows. And yeah, I tend to kind of like this look. It's like a cell shaded look, and it works out pretty well for this type of illustration. Now for the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some color holds. So assuming that your line art, not the coloring and everything, is on a separate layer, what you want to do is there in the layers palette, there's a little thing that says lock with a little check mark. Just check that off. And once that's checked off, any color that you add to that layer will only affect the line. anything that's on that layer. It won't affect anything outside, so it's not like you can't like freehand drawing. You can only color within the lines. It's kind of like a coloring book, like an automatic coloring book where you can't go outside the lines. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead with once again even darker than that shadow color, and just filling in all the lines to make it pop, and you can kind of see the effect here. And now we're going to move on to actually making the stickers. There are a number of different ways that you can create stickers. Some require a laminating machine, but this technique does not. And I'm using Avery chemical labels, and you can see here laser. That is very important because you want to make sure you get laser paper if you have a laser printer, or inkjet if you have an inkjet. Very important. But the good thing about these is they're specifically designed to be put on like chemical labels, like you see the little tank there, where if it gets wet, it's not going to damage it. So that's good. They're a little pricier than other labels, but the good thing is, you know, they really do work. Now, here is what I'm talking about as far as getting the right paper for your printer. You can see that one below, that was using the wrong paper, and then I had to buy another one for the right kind of printer. So be very cautious, because like I said, they are pricey. So I will get my use out of these other ones somehow using the other type of printer. But yeah, be very important. Pay attention to that. Next, you're going to lay all your stickers out on the page, as many as you can on one sheet, and then print them out, and there you go. Now, if you have access to a Cricut or a Silhouette machine, you can program it to cut all of these out yourself. Make sure there's a decent enough border. I had a little trouble getting them all lined up. It took a while for me to get them all set up like that, and there's a whole other instructions depending on which type of machine you have, but this works really nicely. It might be a good investment if you're going to do a lot of these type of stickers, but other than that, you can also cut them out by hand using scissors or an X-Acto knife, whatever works. Personally, I prefer the X-Acto knife if I'm cutting out by hand. Now, my stickers are going to be each individual sticker, so I'm going to cut right through the entirety of the paper all the way through. If you're selling stickers on a sheet, if you're using like a Cricut or a Silhouette machine, you can program it to, you can program the size of the cut so it won't cut all the way through the paper and just the sticker part. So if you're printing them out on sheets, if you're selling them on sheets, you can do that way. It's a little trickier if you're using the X-Acto knife, and pretty much impossible if you're using scissors. But one technique, way back when I was in school and I took some airbrushing classes, when you mask things off to be airbrushed, you had this, it's like the masking film was called frisket. And one of the things that they had us do was actually place the frisket on a balloon. And if you can cut the frisket out on the balloon without popping it, then you pass that part of the class. That's pretty extreme, but it might be good practice if you are going to be cutting these out by hand, and if you're using them on an actual, if you're going to sell them by the sheet. I just like the idea of having individual stickers, so I'm not really going to worry too much about that. So here are my finished stickers. There is the zombie. I've got my mad scientist sticker, my alien sticker, and of course my robot sticker. And I will have all these together in a pack available at Serkworks.com or MadScienceSupplyCompany.com. You guys can check those out. But now we have to move on to making some packaging for these. Now we are back in Adobe Illustrator where I'm doing my label layout. So I'm using clear bags to pack these, and my bags, I think they're like 5 1/4 inches wide. So that's the size of the square I'm doing. And I'm making it 2 parts, so it's going to fold. So I have to remember when I bring my once I get all my logos laid out here on the bottom, when I do the other side, I need to flip it upside down so when it folds, it's right side up, if that makes sense. But anyway, so I think it's 5 1/2, mine are 5 1/2 or 5 1/4 by I think 4 inches tall. So each one of the, once it's folded, it'll be 2 inches. I was able to put 4 labels on a page, and now I'm just going to cut those out. I'm using an X-Acto knife and a metal ruler, but you can also use a paper cutter if that works better for you. There's no particular reason, I don't know. Sometimes I can be more precise with an X-Acto knife, but paper cutters, I'll use those as well. And as you can see, just kind of, I'm not cutting all the way to the edge, that way the pieces won't fall apart until I get towards the edge, and when I cut the edges off, then I'll have each one. Otherwise it's kind of hard to line up everything. You can create crop marks or whatever to help guide you if that helps. I'm just kind of following the line of where the black ends because I know that's the exact edge of the card. Then I'm going to fold them, and I'm just using the paper cutter, that little edge, to line everything up against, and then just kind of crease it. You can score it if you want, just take an X-Acto knife really tiny, lightly, just on the middle there, and it'll fold really nicely if you want to do that. And if you're going to be hanging these, you can put a hole there with a hole puncher. First I did that, and then I decided I didn't want to do that just because I'm going to be selling these mostly online. If I do a convention, then I can go ahead and punch those. So there's my stickers. There's all the different stickers, and as you can see, they've kind of got that Avery label thing in the back. I don't particularly care for that, but that's just one of the prices that you have to pay for using this particular thing, but that's cool. So anyway, so I'm just dropping all 4 of my stickers in the pack. Then I'm going to take my label and press it over it, and then first, and these are clear bags. If you want any kind of bags, almost any kind of sizes, go to clearbags.com. They have pretty much everything you need. I've been using these guys for a while, and they're great. So now I just line up the top of my label with the plastic bag, and then I'm going to go ahead, once it's all lined up, and take a stapler. I've got a long arm stapler that I use for creating comic books, but it's not that you can use a regular staple too. That works fine. And just put a couple staples in there, and there you have the finished packs. And I'm going to put these on my online store, and they will be available. And then once you're all done with that, then you can have some fun with the stickers, and you can actually stick them on stuff. I like to decorate my sketchbooks with stickers, but you can pretty much put stickers anywhere you want. So I'm going to leave a list in the description of all the different tools and supplies and things that I use to create this particular tutorial, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, that's how you create stickers, or how I create them. So there you guys go. That's how I create stickers. That's one way to do it. That's my way to do it. Hopefully that helped you guys out. So if you're interested in making stickers, then you can use some of these techniques, or maybe you're interested in purchasing some of these stickers. They're available on my online store at serkworks.com, link in the description. But yeah, I will see you guys later. That is all. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here in the Art Lab. There's a lot of other great content on the channel, so click that subscribe button and you won't miss a thing. If you're an aspiring evil genius, visit serkworks.com for all your mad science supply needs. And if you want to contact me, hit me up in the comments section or follow me on social media. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you then.